Last week's Republican convention was a blazing display of a failed attempt to be inclusive while ending up being exclusive. For somehow or another, it gave us a jaded perspective on what America looked like. It did not seem to be encompassing of all the varying facets, ethnicities, and backgrounds that America seems to represent. When the motley crew of speakers began to saunter across the stage, it became overwhelmingly obvious, evident, and apparent that this was not a conglomerate of speakers who spoke to the vein, the vessel, and to the perplexities that most Americans are facing. I, like many of you, was somewhat conflicted to see Joe Lieberman come to the scene and to speak, because he appeared as nothing more than a sore loser. To know that just 4 years ago, he had lost to his own party and won as an independent. To him now, a former vice presidential candidate under the banner of the Democratic Party, to now stand as an independent but speak on behalf of the Republicans. He was saying to everybody else, I don't care who didn't vote for me, I don't care who didn't support me, I don't care who doesn't believe in me, I'll do whatever it takes to stay on top and to remain visible. So Joe Lieberman said to all of us, if you didn't remember anything he said, he was saying in no uncertain terms, I'm just going to do me. We're in the midst of a recession, and many of us are scrambling just to make the paycheck stretch itself out so that there's enough food for our children, so that the lights would remain on. And what appears to be possibly, maybe, the First Lady of these United States of America, Cindy McCain, comes out in a $300,000 outfit, in a pendant that was bespeckled in pure diamonds from Russia, that made out the words USMC, when most of our citizens who are enlisted in the armed services can't afford diamonds, but are barely trying to pay off student loans. Cindy McCain, who in fact is worth millions, hundreds of millions of dollars, was saying in no uncertain terms, I know that the economy is stretched. I know that we're scrambling at the cash register. I know that we're fighting just to put gas in the car. And I know that most Americans who are watching this telecast are under economic duress. But with wearing $300,000 worth of jewelry and clothes in one night, what she was saying, even without opening her mouth, is I'm going to do me. John McCain, who spent all of the previous week vilifying and tearing apart Barack Obama, saying in fact that this was not a rock concert, the Democratic Party, that we're in a place where we have to bring formation to our nation. On this, the last night of the Republican convention, stretched out and extended the stage because he wanted to quote unquote be a part of the people. But for over 47 minutes, nothing he said seemed to resonate with anybody. It didn't speak to where it is that we were as a people or where we were at a nation. And then when he had concluded his address, it was almost as if the whole auditorium fell silent to say, that can't be all you have to say. And John McCain, giving a weak and paupish wave, was saying in no uncertain terms, just 2 weeks prior, he had introduced his running mate, all the way from Anchorage, Alaska, Sarah Palin. And Sarah Palin was in fact somebody who the Republican Party says, this is the best of who we have to offer. In the event that John McCain is elected as the president and falls ill and succumbs unto death or to illness, this is the person we want to speak and to represent the nation. She is conflicted, almost socially bipolar, because there is one facet of her who in fact exudes a sweet soccer mom, but there's another part of her who is an vindictive sister-in-law who tried to get her own brother-in-law fired because of how he handled her sister. This same woman, as governor for just 2 years, asked and requested for $750 million of federal aid, more than any other state in the union. But yet she touts that she is against big government and is trying to support the small and the common man. This woman, who is in fact poised to potentially be the president of the United States of America, says she's against sex education in our public schools, but at the same time waltzes across her 17-year-old pregnant daughter. This same woman, who is allegedly about family values, got married when she herself was 3 months pregnant and then tried to cover it up against her own parents' will. This same woman, who is in fact under an ultra-conservative, 5 years ago had an affair with her husband's business partner. This same woman, who in fact raised and earned last year $150,000 for her family, and her husband last year in his tax returns, the only income that he could speak of was for winning a snowboarding contest. This same woman, who took 7 years just to get a bachelor's degree, having failed out of 2 community colleges and 2 state colleges, and finally getting a bachelor's degree, I take absolute offense. This is who you would put up against a Harvard graduate? That you've got the right and the nerve to speak out against a black man who is educated, trained, loves his family, and is doing all to represent for his daughters? There is, in fact, a slap of righteous indignation that you would then speak to black people that even in 2008 you still got to jump higher, run faster, or do more, or forever be left behind. Something is to be said, ladies and gentlemen, that even if you're from the ghetto and get a degree, they'll still put up somebody from a trailer park and say there's somebody who is better than you. You've got to get to the place and say, I got to do me when nobody else will see who I am.